Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode from TCG353. I'm Jamie and today we have unlocked a new combo with Red Blue Ace. It is make your leader huge and have immense defense with amazing control. Let's look at the deck with our first game here now against Purple Enel. We'll talk a little bit about the combo later on when it comes up in the gameplay. But a little teaser for you there is actually seeing that Dressrosa event in hand. So what it does is it grants your leader 1k until the end of your opponent's next turn. So 1k leader, so your 7k leader, and you draw a card, so it replaces itself. As you see, we put it into effect there. We become 7k and swing 7k. We do sacrifice using the attached on to get the leader ability on Ace, but I mean we're 7k, so it's hard for them to swing into us, especially the way Enel swings. It's usually 6 and 6. They can't do that now, so they must opt to go for 7k swings with leader, which they can't do because they played down that senior pink. We have a Barry pistol in this deck as well. We're running a lot of events. It's a very control centric deck, so we use that event. We bottom deck their senior pink, we swing 6 into them and they give us counter. Our opponent is dead set on staying at 5 life. They play Enel down on their, what turn would this be? Turn 3, which is very strong. They swing 6 into us, we don't take. They swing 6 into us, we do take. Granted, we don't have leader ability now, so you could say we have lost a little bit of card draw, but it doesn't matter all that much to us. We play down Yamato, draw 2, attach a Dawn, and attach 2 more down to swing 9 at them, and rightly so, they don't take that swing here. Our hand is looking pretty nice actually. We have 2 A-cost events for our 10 new gates, and we have Cavendish and Marco, which actually give us options. And we'll discuss those options in a bit, because Marco and Cavendish actually can be played on the same turn, and it's quite strong. Granted, now we're going to trash Marco, so forget I ever said that. But it is quite a strong combination. Our opponent swings 6, opponent swings 7, his opponent swings 10. We block the 6 and the 7. We do not block the 10. We're on 1 life at the moment, and it is our 5th turn, I believe. Turn 5. We just to recap, we did not choose to go first. Our opponent chose to go first, so Enel has their ideal curve. We play down the new gate with our A-cost event. We attach 2 Dawn. We draw 2 cards. We trash 1. So we swing 8 with Yamato. We swing 8 with our leader. And our opponent takes the first and counters the second, I believe. No, they counter both of them actually. And now they have quite a scary board actually. But we do have a blocker, so we're going to use that when we can. Our opponent throws a 6 at us. We just give them counter, not leader ability, just a 1k. It's possible they'll swing 7 here, which they do. We have a 2k counter, so maybe we'll use that. But instead we choose to pitch a 1k for the event, or for the leader ability. Block out a 10k swing, and our opponent probably is considering whether they should swing 7 into us. They do, but they swing 7 into Yamato, which we have a 2k in hand to protect. So we're looking pretty good. They freeze our Yamato now for next turn, which is a bit unfortunate. But you see here we have another little spicy option in this deck, and it is the Fire Fist, which can minus 8k to a body and doesn't allow it to swing next turn. So we're kind of looking at this play here. So what we can do is Fire Fist, make one of their bodies minus 8k, and then bottom deck it. That being said, we can't do that to Enel, which is the 1 card we do want off the field. So instead we choose to put down our 10 new gates with our A-cost event, attach 2 down to Otama, swing 2 into Puddin, they take, swing 8 into leader, they take, and we actually swing 12 into leader as well, and they do not block. So they take 2 life that turn, which is big for us, because they've been very defensive so far, and our life totals are now coming close to similar. Our opponent uses Divine Departure here, so our blocker new gate is minus 8k, which is quite strong for them, I guess. In my opinion, they should have done that on the new gate that is turned sideways, and just got that off the board for more board control, but I guess they wanted to go aggressive here, so this is the start of their aggression. They swing 6 into us. They haven't attached on the leader, so I guess they're going to swing 6 again. Yes, they do. They rest the new gate with Mamaragan. The biggest fear that we have is that they have an Eltor in hand. If they do, they can KO that new gate very, very easily. We give them leader ability. That was actually a misclick there. We used the Phoenix we pitched the Phoenix when we should have pitched the 10 gate. So we actually just lost 3k counter there by accident. So while we were playing this, we were really just what we'd say at home is up the walls. We were very nervous if they start splitting dons in a way that we don't like. They swing 7 into our 6, and there's nothing that they can do, or there's nothing, or we can counter a lot. Yeah. And they don't have other ways to activate leader ability, it looks like, but they could have, I think, unless they used it already, I'm not sure. No, they could have activated leader ability and got 11. We would have taken the life and drawn 2. We actually were going to draw into a 2k and we would have had a brick, so maybe that misplay nearly cost us the game, but our opponent didn't split down effectively, so I take that as a win because we misclicked and our opponent misplayed, so balances out and it's all fine. So that's a good win for us against Purple Enel going first, and we were able to showcase what makes this deck very strong, which is controlling out your opponent, not only in board control but also using your leader life or your leader power to allow your opponent not to swing. Very good game for our first game, good game to our opponent. Second game now against another meta phenom. By the stats actually, Blue Yellow Nami is more powerful than Purple Enel. So Purple Enel is getting a lot of hate for being this dominant deck, but Blue Yellow Nami has a lot of stuff to talk about as well, as we're going to see in this game. Our opponent swings 7 at us first. We use leader ability to counter out. We swing 6 at them. They actually trigger out one of the search events, and they search out an unblockable Sanji, which is handy for them to have in hand. And we're going to put that information at the back of our heads because we don't want to depend on blockers if we're at 0 life. It could come up in the game. I won't talk about it too much. We play down a Marco and they KO it, which is pretty strong for them. We get a Barry pistol trigger off life, and we use it immediately to bottom deck their Nami, the young girl attach rested on, because to be honest, without that card, this deck actually, I wouldn't say it struggles because it still is 7k static leader for pitch 1 card, but it finds it harder to play on curve. And you can see that from the gameplay of this Nami here, that they have to apportion down in strange ways that they wouldn't normally do. More control options from this deck, which is so strong. We have this Distorted Future minus 3k, use the Pyre Apple to bottom deck their Porcelino, and that's bottom deck, so it's gone. It's not bounced back to hand like a Jozu, it's just gone, and it costs us only 3 Don. Fair enough, it costs us 2 cards, but 3 Don is very worthwhile. We use the Cavendish, swing 7, they take. We then use the Bulls and become a 7k leader and swing 8, and they also take, so we're actually in a very good spot here. I think our opponent is on 9 Dons, so if they're running Triller Bark, maybe we're going to see a Gecko Moria. If they're... No, we see another Zeus, so they choose to KO the Cavendish, and we get draw off that because of our leader ability, which is very strong. They're using their Zeuses aggressively, which could be a good idea, but for me, I would rather set up board, and they do eventually get a Borsalino out. That being said, we do actually have so much control in this deck that it doesn't worry us too much. We play Yamato, attach 1 rested on, draw 2 cards, and now we're just considering what we want to pull into. Will we ever use the Jozu is the question, because as I said earlier, bouncing a Borsalino back to hand is just giving them an extra life later on, so we don't really want to pick that up, so we choose the 2k counter instead. Swing 7 into their lead, and now we have the Marco on the board. So we have 2 life. Yamato, Garb and Marco have been established this turn, and we are swing 7, so very strong turn from us. And our opponent only has a Borsalino that is like an effective attacker, and also they probably don't want to attack with it because it is very strong as a blocker. Very good swarm turn for our opponent. Looks like the deck list they're running has a similar concept to the budget Nami that we ran recently on this channel. They use the Alabasta VV, and they're using the 5-cost Nami that if your opponent has 3 or more life, they put a life card into hand and it attaches a rested Don, so very good turn for them. What we're going to do next turn is we swing aggressive with our Marco just to get their leader ability out. Then we play down the negate, attach 2 Don to our Yamato, swing 8, attach 2 Don to our Ace, swing 8, and we get a life and a block, I believe, or we get a 2k and a block, which is strong. They have their own negate, which is a little unfortunate, to be fair, but the way our board is, we are pretty happy to counter out of most things that they're able to throw at us. So we give them 2k counter flat. We will use leader ability here now. We actually don't need the Zoro really, because our next turn is going to be quite cool. We don't think they're going to swing to board cleanup, so we don't bother. And now look at this. We use Fire Fist here to minus the negate by 8k and give our leader +3. So that negate now, it's just not a good blocker really at all. We have the option here to be able to bottom deck that negate if we use a distorted feature on the Purple Phoenix, that card in hand. We choose not to and rather just go aggressive into their life. I mean, the negate isn't scary for us at all anymore, because it's not really a blocker, and next turn it's only going to be a 4k swinger. So what we're doing here now, we still have 3 down standing, and we have 3 events in hand that are 3k counter, so it'll be really hard to kill us next turn. We take all their life and then swing into the Nami, so they're not able to spawn anything back from life. They take the 6k swing into Nami, and we use the negate blocker aggressively because they can't get us on the crackback. We have 3 Dawn standing up for events. Like we have, what's that, 9 + 4, 13k counter in hand with 2 life. Very good spot. We could counter out of this if we want. We choose not to. We take, and we draw a negate. And now we are going to bottom deck the Borsa and just math how we want to swing. And we think a little bit of time on this now, to be fair, because there's a consideration, will we go for game or not? But you have to keep in mind, I know they trashed 1 Sanji blocker, and sometimes this Nami list runs 2 Sanji unblockable characters. So we are like taking that into consideration as well. We want to keep blockers standing up now while we have 1 life. If we had 0 life, we'd swing with blockers here. So we think the best path is swinging 2 9s, leaving 1 Dawn standing up for event, and we have 2 blockers as well. So it's hard for them to block out of everything. It's not like our opponent has Goldie Roger. Thankfully, that is a card Nami does not have access to, just the unblockable Sanji. And if we have 1 life, it doesn't come into play all that much because we can counter out of pretty much everything. What would this? Yeah, it would be hard for them to split. They'd have to have 2 Basically, they can't, which is the bottom line, and I won't yap on about it anymore. It's turn 9, by the way. Our opponent draws, we pass turn. They attach 1 Dawn to lead, activate leader ability, I guess, and to just poke and see what counter we have. We take the block immediately. I think that's the best bet. They swing 6 into our life. I'm not sure what cards they could have here, and nothing that they could have scares me. And there it is, it's a Borsalino, and they leave 4 Dawn standing. Not for events. I think they were just hoping that we wouldn't block out initially so that they could go all in with maybe the unblockable Sanji. We use Fire Fist on negate again, just to make it kind of irrelevant as a blocker. And now we have perfect mat, I think. Well, at least at the time I was swinging, I thought so. But maybe not now that they triggered out a Kiku. So we could, if we'd like to... No, we couldn't swing with the negate and be totally safe. Because they have 3 swings and it is a bit dangerous. Oh, we can, okay. Never mind me, I'm just talking nonsense. My thought there was they only had 1 blocker, and I mean, they have 2 cards, they're not going to be able to counter it, so us swinging with negate meant they had 1 less swinger, so it was good for us. We also have a lot of counter. Our opponent uses a negate blocker again, which is defensive, but I think it's not really happening for them at the moment. We trash a Zoro negate. It doesn't matter that much anymore, to be fair. And our opponent swings 8 into our Yamato. We can't use the event because the event is +3k for leader. And now we have math. Yes, we do. And we just kind of worked that out in our heads like perfectly beforehand. It's 11, 11, and 12 is perfect, really. 11, I think, guarantees 3 cards out of hand, and they can't counter that, so they'd have to block, and then 11, 11. Good game to our opponent. It was very lucky for us that we were able to control the board early and in the late game. Fire Fist comes in very useful in the UI Nami, in this matchup here, and also in the Ace matchup, the mirror matchup. You'll see that at the end, I have an Ace matchup in here. But the Fire Fist comes in very handy against negate specifically, that blocker. Because it negates its defensive prowess, and it also says that your opponent can't swing with the negate next turn if they do choose to go aggressive. So it is very strong. And in the early game, we do have that Bulls event card. I probably should have learned that name before I uploaded this, because it is quite a clutch card in this deck. And to be honest, the combo that I love with this deck and this variation of Ace revolves around that card. So Barrier Bulls, there it is. Barrier Bulls, very strong, and we see it there being used. We are on our 4 Don turn, we use Barrier Bulls and attach 1 Don. So we swing 8 at them, and then we're 7k leader. So Luffy, I think their first turn searched out the secret rare Luffy, and they could have played it down on that turn there and swung 7 into our life, and we probably wouldn't have taken. But our opponent chooses to heal first, so they're going very defensive with the Sky Island Luffy, which in the early game for us was very threatening, because it just seemed like we could never really get their life down. Fortunate for us though, the Zoro comes out and we're able to freeze that character. If it was the yellow Luffy, we could not freeze it. That's a feature of this Boa Hancock. It can't freeze Monkey D. Luffy characters, because Boa Hancock is a simp in the anime, and that's how it works. We have 8 Don now, and we consider what to do with it, and we actually just use the swing. We'll attach 1 Don to our leader. So the sequence we go is 5, 7, and 8. The reason is what I said already. It's sort of intimidating that our opponent has so much life already, and now you can see they're establishing a bigger board. So it is savvy for us to get counter out of hand and try and get life off them. So swinging that turn was the smart move, I think. They swing into our Boa, and they can have that. It's minus 2k with the Viper, and they're going to get it eventually, so we let it go. We counter out to 6, we counter out 7 also, and now we are on our 10k turn. We learned from previous games always to keep the Goldie Roger in. I had a Lucci game that, I'm gonna eat my words here, I think, no. Because they can trigger out that Robin blocker, and they also have Borsalinos in this deck. I had a Lucci game that I would have won earlier had I kept a Goldie Roger in hand. We only run 1 in the deck, so trashing it early, especially knowing that your opponent does have blockers, is just a bad idea. It really is. It's such an easy win condition, especially when as Ace you can build your board massive, and quite defensive as well. So our opponent has 10 Don now, and they start swinging 6 into us, which is so good, because I mean, like, they have how many swings? They have 5 swings available to them, and all their swings hit leader. If we weren't a 6k leader here, we'd be toast. I guess it is the strength of Sky and Luffy. You notice in this deck list as well, we run the swings 9 into us, we give them 2Ks. You notice in this deck list as well, we run the 4-cost Sanji. You could run the Yuda, to be fair. I'm not opposed to that at all. I think that's quite good actually, because there was one game where it could have came up better than the Sanji. I just believe in running a searchable 2K, so whichever one you prefer. I just like Sanji. Or Nami or Chopper, however that works. And here we go, the ultimate combo of this deck that is so ultimate. We have 7k Zoro comes down, doesn't get character rush, but can make your leader 8k, and we use the Rage 8 the Barrier Bulls to become 9k. And now what was scary last turn, because they have so many bodies that are 6k, 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 7k, 6. What was scary last turn isn't scary anymore, because we outpower a lot of their cards. Also, what you have to consider here is that we have a big board, and they have the Rush Sky Island Luffy. We're not going to activate an event. They have, and we're not going to activate a blocker. You've noticed this game we've been using negate aggressively, because we seen at the start they had that Sky Island Luffy in hand. I think they might have trashed it there with the with that Gum Gum Golden Rifle. Yeah, they did. And it's probably for that reason, because we're not using our negate defensively, we're using it offensively, so they're not going to get the value off that. We're using it as a 12k swing. Also, we seen that at the start of the game they brought in a secret rare Enel into hand, which to us tells us that we probably they can't swing into us if we're 9k. Like, they have a choice to make, basically. They have to either develop board and heal or go for game, and them going for game couldn't work against us if we're 9k. So us being 9k, okay, make a short story long, us being 9k is what might win us the game, ... We swing 9, I believe they counter, we swing 13. I believe they don't counter, and we swing 15. We swing 15, and they don't have enough counter for it. So good game to our opponent. It was that final turn that actually won it for us, because otherwise you see that they had 2 of those Secret Rare Luffys in hand. They could have just swung a bunch of 6s and whittled their hand size down, and they would have had it. Like, we only have 2 true counter cards in hand, and everything else would have been difficult to have. So really becoming not only 8k but 9k that turn was very, very useful for us. So good game to our opponent, but we were just able to activate the forbidden tech of this red-blue ace list that we're running. This is a quick game against Black Emu. We won the roll of the dice, so we're feeling very fortunate. We have a few cards here that in this deck list against Emu probably aren't so relevant, like Barrier Pistol, and also like the Fire Fist, so we do trash the Fire Fist immediately. Emu isn't running massive boss monsters, it just swarms quite aggressively. Our opponent, it might have been their first time playing Emu, because they take a while for some decisions, which is fair enough. I'm not complaining at all. Just little things like they didn't use their leader ability here, for example, on their first turn, and I think they were unlucky with the hand draw that they had. But yeah, maybe they could have made just different decisions is all. We swing 6 and they take. We play down the Marco. We haven't done attached to our leader ability, so we would like not to take a swing this turn, so we probably will counter out. They use stage to pull out the Pig Walkery blocker that on KO draws. Swing into us, we choose to trash a 1k Garb Searcher, and look at this, because they have no cards in trash, we swing 6 first, okay? We swing 6 first because we want to see what we'll do next. They don't use the counter here, so we actually bottom deck it because we can, their trash isn't large, and now we swing 7. So they probably thought that they were going to be able to counter out of 6, get 2 6 swings, so they took the first one to see what they drew into and then block out of the next one, but it didn't work out like that for them. We were able to bottom deck it because they have no trash, and we were quite fortunate there, I guess, yeah. They use Saturn, they draw into a reveal and draw Marcus Mars, so now they have that 5 cost blocker. They play down a Shalria and draw into a Jupiter. Yes, they do, and they trash something that I can't find. They trash the Jupiter as well, so they're setting their board up for the 5 cost Elders. Now this I don't really understand. They play out the 2k and they trash it. Okay, so I did include this game because it's fun to see Emu and you don't see it very much. So bear that in mind, okay? I also did want to see how this deck runs against Emu, and famously enough from the OP13 meta, it's a coin toss game, whoever wins first, and we were lucky enough that we won the coin toss. Good game to our opponent. They didn't have Dunlop for the event at the end, and they kind of just couldn't handle it. They had a bunch of counter in hand if there was Don standing, but they didn't have Don standing. They also didn't have 10 cards in trash, so they couldn't have activated that Baroque Works event 3k in hand, and they would have drawn into another counter. So yeah, good game to our opponent. I think they could have got online a bit earlier. I would have helped them out a little bit more, but I'd say their hand was just bad, and as I said, we won the coin toss at the start, so it was always going to be an uphill battle for them. Let's go into the mirror match now. This is a really cool thing to see. Obviously mirror matches are really, really boring usually, and I had a really boring one earlier that I was really excited to show, but I didn't click start recording, which is unfortunate. What's fun about this mirror matchup here in particular, right, is that our deck list is different to a traditional ace deck list. So one, we have like the element of surprise, I guess you could say, that our opponent doesn't know what we're running and we know what they're running, so that is actually a real benefit. Our opponent chooses to counter 2k out of a 7k swing, plays Marco, throws 6 into our 7, doesn't work, that's fine. But that is a real thing, having the advantage in that way. Our opponent now considers what to do with 7 into 6, and also our deck has a few counters to negate traditionally, like what I mentioned at the start. Running Fire Fist is very good into the negate card itself, and and then we run more distorted futures than what a normal negate deck would, what a normal ace deck would, and the barrier bulls can allow you to outpower an ace in the early game. As we saw there, they couldn't swing 6 into our 6, it was a 7. We use our Zoro and we swing 8 into their leader. I think here, and this is something I've noticed even my own gameplay when I was playing as ace, was that I didn't ever really want to take a hit if I didn't have a Don attached. And what's happening to my opponent here is they just gave me 2 cards, so because they didn't have a Don attached, essentially. And that means that they lost 2 cards trying to protect the advantage of gaining 1 card, which just doesn't make total sense. Like, their hand size is the smallest hand size a red blue ace player has ever had, I'd say. And we're in a very strong position, even though we have less life. And not about our board state either, we're just in a strong position because our hand size is massive. Like, you'd know we have a Goldie Roger in hand. Or you could guess we could, whereas I'm not sure what my opponent has, and they're probably searching for something, but they're not taking hits, so how can they actually find anything? Play with the Monkey D. Garp, they're on their 10 on turn now. It is a marker that they draw into, who is of course very strong. They use a Yamato, attach it on with it, draw 2 cards, so their hand size is going back up a little bit. They're thinking about what they're going to do next, and rather than play out the Marco, they choose to swing into our Zoro, which is never going to happen. We're not going to give it up, and it's only 1k counter. They're better off just swinging into my life. They swing 9 into the Zoro again. I guess they're just trying to whittle down hand size, but we're just giving them counters, 1ks, 1ks. And the Zoro has to swing into a character, which is fair enough. And we could just use a 2k, but we don't. We take the block, and our opponent swings into us again, and we do use the leader ability here, and we choose to trash the Boa Hancock. I don't think we're going to get much value out of it, to be honest, so there's no point in my opinion. We draw into a Josie, which is a bit of a contender for our next play. Of course, we're going to swing Cavendish first and just see what our opponent is thinking and how that feels to him. Will they eventually take a life? We'll find out soon. I hope they do, but they don't. They counter out with 1k, so they haven't used leader ability yet. We play out a negate with our A cost event, and we begin attaching Don. We actually trash the barrier bulls here because we don't have the 7 cost Zoro barrier bulls combo to go, so there's no real point. We also have an A cost event in hand, so we don't want to let that go either. We swing into lead, they counter, and because they've given us so much counter, we swing 11 into the Joes and we get it, and our opponent actually concedes. Now, our opponent's playing style was a bit unique, so granted, maybe that is an aspect of our win there, but also because when you look here, clearly it was our opponent was looking for the negate the whole game, and it was in their life. You know, it's like what you're looking for is right in front of you the whole time. That's the situation there. They should have just taken a hit, like, and they would have been fine. Our hand was very, very strong into ace. This is the point I want to make. We did have goalie Roger, of course, that is immensely strong against ace, but also we had that Fire Fist. And as I mentioned, the Fire Fist is a very good counter to the negate card. Good game to our opponent. Let's go into the next game against another very strong red blue leader. It is red blue Sabo, and you can see here we're running the 6 cost Law in this list. That is not part of the final list. This is a game I ran at the beginning, and I thought this game was kind of fun, so I included it. But the 6 cost I took out in the end because, one, if you're going second and you played on 6 on curve, it's a bit slow and you don't get leader ability off consistently. I think it's better even just to play a 5 cost Yamato on your 6th on turn than it was to play this 6 cost. But I was leaning into the removal aspect of this deck with the 6 cost being able to minus 2k, and then barrier pistol. You could bottom deck 8ks, and with the start of future you could bottom deck like 11ks and etc, etc. You could just kind of go nuts. But this is part of the reason that I kept this gameplay in, was that we were able to barry pistol Cavendish as ace, which is kind of unheard of. Our opponent counters out 2k from a 6k swing. Usually, as you'll notice from our gameplay, we like swinging with the Marco because it sort of feels like an an invincible body, unless they're going to bottom deck it. Because no one really wants to swing into it, because you're just going to give Ace a bunch of draw. They use the double attack event Raw, so they clearly don't have a Sabo, and they don't trash cards, so it's just an AK into us, so that's easy enough for us. We give them a 2k and use leader ability. We're on our 8 on curve, and we hit it perfectly with the 8 negate event and play into a 10 gate. Swing 8. Our opponent on the first swing, I believe they took, and now they gave us counter. They gave us a 2k and 1 event with the Dressrosa Kingdom, so 2 and a 2. And we passed the turn to our opponent. It is now turn 5. Our opponent has 9 Don, and they may be in some trouble if they don't have If they don't have a Sabo, it was going to be hard for them. But look, they actually hit a pretty nice Lucy curve there on their 9 Don. They were able to Fire Fist and Baby Fire Fist. It would have been more ideal if it was the Sabo that used the Fire Fist for them, but look, beggars can't be choosers. We had another negate in hand, so we're just going to whip that out. Swing 8, our opponent counters, and since they used the Dressrosa, we're pretty sure they'll take the second. They do. Now we are on 1 life with a negate on board. They play down the Sabo and use the Fire Fist into the Marco, swing 2 into minus 2k. We do actually consider taking that, or countering that, but it's not. And we will take the free block here. And we are like in a very good spot. You can see here our opponent concedes because I think they find it difficult for themselves to play now. I mean, they only have 4k counter in hand. This was an old list, and please don't laugh and judge, but I was building this video initially for like a total Dressrosa package, so I was using the Sabo and Fire Fist combo thinking that would work, and then I played out a Sabo in a later game than this, and I couldn't use the Fire Fist because it's leader locked to Dressrosa leader. So you live and you learn. It didn't come up in this game, the Sabo, nor did the 6 cost law, so I said I'd keep it in because the deck played exactly like it plays in previous games. But yeah, just a lesson to all you other card game players out there is to read the cards before you start making lists. We're in our last game now. This is against Red Green Luffy, and we have a card. We have another example of reading your cards. So here we have the 6 cost Boa, and 6 cost Boa is in our final list, but this 6 cost Boa is not because I picked the wrong one when I was in the deck editor. But this game is a very good example of just a Red Green Luffy matchup and sort of using your own count to know what the count of their Don is and such. But just, word to the wise, pick the right cards when you're making your decks. So I will include the deck list in the description and it'll be correct. We use leader ability and counter out of that 6k swing. We're already after taking a life, and so is our opponent. So we're on 2 life, our opponent's on 3. It's turn 3. We play out the... Whoa, that happened so quick. We did play out a card, and it was definitely the right card to play, thankfully, and swing into our opponent, and they counter out of that. Their turn now, turn 4, they play out an Usopp and swing 6 into us. We are using leader ability and deciding what to do. We use the Goldie Roger to trash out of, which I just don't agree with ever. Like, it's not something I'll do from future games onwards, because it's the win con. For some matchups and most games, like if your opponent runs blockers, then you should probably keep it in hand. And I know that Red Green Luffy only runs 4 blockers, and those are the Namis, but I mean, you'll see in this game that they do come up. So word to the wise, don't trash your Rogers, especially when you have a 6 cost Boa in hand. That is the wrong character to be using all the time, or the whole time. Our opponent swings 6 into us. They play down the Nami to rest our Otama and our Yamato, and then use the Luna to freeze it, which is not the best value from that card that you can get in this game. You see this deck runs a Chinjao. We actually took that out of the final list because we were never really using it. Draw 2 trash 1 is handy, especially that we run a lot of events, but to be honest, a lot of the events we use in this deck, they get used, whether it be with leader ability or we actually just use them. So there we go, we trashed 1 event there with the negate ability, and we use a distorted future on the Usopp. And so now we'll start swinging into it. We consider for a second, will we use another distorted future on it, but with the count of Don that they have up from the rested, or from the leader ability, we wouldn't be able to punch through, because we'd swing 2, we'd swing 4, they could use leader ability for everything, and then we'd swing 8 and they'd counter, or they'd block out. So it's not worth it for us. And still with this result, we are able to force the blocker anyway, so it's just worth it to keep the distorted future in hand, and we pass the turn. So we didn't get the Usopp out of hand, but we did get the Nami off the board, which is nice for us. They draw into a Brook, which is something to keep in mind all the time. It can rest or negate, and it also allows one of their bodies to swing twice. So it is a dangerous card against us. We're considering whether we'll protect this or not, and then we realize we have a negate in hand, so why not block? That would be much smarter. Our opponent attaches a Don, of course, to activate leader ability, and they are 7k leader with a Don attached. They swing 8. We give them a Zoro of our own because we don't feel like we need it, and we pass turn, use Chinjao for counter, which in this deck Chinjao was just counter fodder the whole time. It wasn't really useful. The reason we patch it through the Zoro as well is because we wanted to use Fire Fist rather than using the Zoro. We thought that was a better way to use, or that was better for us, because it would allow us to absolutely clear the Zoro off board, and if not, then whittle down their leader ability and hand size if they do want to protect it, but there was no way they were protecting it really. So now we're an AK leader, which is like a very strong after effect of Fire Fist. We swing 6 into them, they use leader ability, we swing 11. They give us all the leader ability cards, and the Brook is counter, which is interesting, and we swing 12 with the negate. Let's just be aggressive, is my thought process here. I don't think they're able to get us on the crackback at all. Having so many 2Ks in hand is quite useful, and we have leader ability. We're just going to use the Chinjao here to get rid of. Yes, we are. We don't see them using the Usopp because they want to keep it up. And now we have this very, very useful combo in this deck, which is minus 3k and use the Pyre Apple to bottom deck a card. We have the option to bottom deck the Brook so that they can't double swing next turn. But really, for me, getting rid of that Usopp is the real threat, because Usopp is such an annoying card to come up against in this Red Green Luffy deck. In my opinion, it's the best card in the deck, and it's why it's so valuable at the moment. So let's just keep on swinging. We can see that they have the Brook there, but the Brook can activate double attack on itself because it trashes to set a character as active. Our opponent gets a very nice Luna off and plays down the Robin to protect their bodies, but in doing that they don't attach it on, so they don't have a leader ability active. It doesn't matter too much because we only have 2 swings, but it is something to consider. I'm not sure if this Monkey D. Luffy list runs Goldie Roger either. So we choose instead to just swing or put a tax beard down and leave the blocker standing once we see that they counter. And now they are taxed, so they have to pay us 2 if they're going to swing with any body, which is actually very relevant here. They use a Nami to set down another blocker, so they have 2 blockers on the board now, and they swing 6 into our Yamato after placing down an Usopp, so they're going to put is that 7 down as active next turn, I think, or does it cap out of 5? Yeah, it caps out of 5. And we don't really have things to play this turn per se, except for the Yamato to see what we draw into, and we draw into a Marco, thankfully enough. And so now we just start swinging 7s, which multiples of 2 are definitely the best way to get Red Green Luffy down. We swing 7, we swing 7, we swing 9, we have Taxbeard as well, so we're going to swing that. We're not sure if they run Goldie Roger, but if they do, I think we're all right, because we have AK counter in hand, and we'll draw 2 once we take a hit. So our opponent now becomes a 7k leader, has a Don attached, and with the Usopp they're going to activate 2 Don afterwards. They can character rush twice, but it doesn't matter to us too much. We take the block immediately and draw 2 cards, and we trash a card in order to protect the Zoro from the Zoro. Take a free block there on the 9k swing. They're going to trash the Brook to restand the Zoro, and we give them counter because we have it to give. Why not? And now we have choices on what to do. But first things first, let's swing 12 and see how they react. If they give us the block, we're pretty happy to go all in. They give us all the Don that they have. There's no Charleston or anything, so now we're just going to split our Don like so. We're going to swing 13, and the aim, I think the idea was swing 13 to swing 7 and then chip 7, get a card out of hand, 7, get a card out of hand. We could have just went all in all fairness, but we were being fairly cautious, which is grand enough because we win the game. So GG's to our opponent. I think they played quite well and they saw a lot of their Usopp, so it's not like their curve was awful. Even if they did not put down that Robin and use the leader ability in that turn, I don't think it would have made all that much of a difference for them, because we would have swung 12 twice anyway, or we would have swung or we would have just taxed them and not swung 6, so it wasn't that relevant. In all fairness, they only lost 1 card from that little misplay. And yeah, all in all, I think we just controlled the game very well for the deck, and that's what the deck does. That is the idea of the deck. If you're controlling the board, then we have the -3k Distort of Future, the Fire Fist, we have the bottom deck from the Pyre Apple card, and we have Barry Pistol to remove as well. And it's all pretty much bottom decking except for the Fire Fist, which can KO. So it is pretty much bottom decking, which is a much better way of removal than is a KO, because a lot of things have KO protection. We also can control by our leader's power. So famously, Ace is a turn 2 leader, and it still is in all fairness, the curve is so good. But this deck has a really good option on turn 1 now of first turn, try and get out a Searcher. Second turn, you can play out the Barrier Bulls and become 7k, swing 7k. Granted, you don't attach the leader, but 7k on turn 2 for any opponent is hard to swing into. So it is a very strong turn, and you have leader ability to become 2k. And then you go 5 Don into a Yamato, which is standard enough, but still so strong, or else a Marco or Cavendish, and attach 1 Don. And then your 7 Don turn is your Zoro. And so your turn 1 now is actually very strong because it is Barrier Bulls, in my opinion. Yeah, very, very strong card, and it replaces itself as well, so your hand size is still pretty strong. All in all, really strong deck, and I think it's very good into the mirror matchup as well, as you saw from these games. I hope you enjoyed this deck list. It is quite unique. It's a very strong leader, so most decks with Ace are going to be good, and you're going to have a bunch of cards. I just hope you liked this take on it. If you did, make sure to leave a like. If you want to talk in the comments, just leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. It's always so great talking to you. If you want to subscribe, feel free to do so. I post every day and I really enjoy doing it, so your support actually means a whole lot to me. And not much else to say. I hope you have a great day. I might see you in the next video. If I do, I'll talk to you then. Bye now.